saying in Tamil, Mata Pita Guru Devam. It says first comes your Mata, then your Pita, and then your Guru, and then the God. So the Guru is placed after our parents. So we are going to meet one of the wonderful personality who is already in the other side of my screen. First, let me tell hi to her, and then I'll introduce about her. Hi Vaishali, how are you?
Hi, Jyothi. I'm fine, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic, and we are going live today on Women TV India, and we'll be talking on a wonderful topic. Before that, let me introduce to Vaishali while you guys all join into the show. Vaishali is author, educationalist, and founder of an award-winning brand called One Teacher, One Scientist, a master training the stream for teachers. Not only that, we have when I interacted with her, I came to know a lot of things about her. She's a creator of a successful program called Slate to enhance learning and skill building in disadvantaged children, and a published author for about 60 titles around school curriculum. So it's wonderful that you're doing in the stream of teaching so much, Vaishali. So what was it? Was it in your early days that you were influenced by someone that you want to become a teacher, or it's just that you always wanted to be a teacher?
Thank you, Jyoti, for that introduction. And just a little bit about the journey. I think it is, in fact, parenting that
Mm-hmm.
took me on this journey of teaching, on this journey of writing as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
it was when I was nurturing my children as a mother.
Mm-hmm.
That is when all these ideas kept coming to me. And that is
Okay.
when I started thinking
Mm-hmm.
that, the gap areas that are there in our education system. And that
Okay.
is actually what unfolded this entire path of writing, of training teachers. I already had a background in
Mhm,
child development, in science,
mhm,
and
mhm,
that is when I set forth on this journey of writing.
mhm, mhm.
So
So,
it was
yeah,
parenting. I would say it was motherhood that actually brought me into this field of writing for children.
what is one scientist, one teacher, one scientist? What's this concept all about?
Well, one teacher, one scientist is a very interesting concept. And
Uh-huh.
while I was training teachers, I'm actually also a teacher trainer. So
Got
till
it.
now, I have impacted about quite a few teachers all across the country and the subcontinent. So, in one of these teacher training workshops, I
Mm-hmm.
just got this, you can say, a deja vu kind of a feeling that,
Yeah.
it would be so great if
Mm-hmm.
every teacher pledges to give at least one thinker or a scientist to the country. We
Mm-hmm.
would do our job as teachers if we are able to nurture a thinker in a child.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when this entire concept of one teacher, one scientist took birth. And I
Mm-hmm.
just thought that, I should have a movement where each
Okay.
teacher is empowered enough to give at least one thinker to our country. And why just teachers? I think parents and grandparents also play
Okay.
a major role in a child's life. And
Mm-hmm.
even they, any adult that a child
Mm-hmm.
interacts with has that power to give at least a thinker, to nurture that child into a thinker and help the child become a learner for life. And that is what one teacher, one scientist is actually all about.
Fantastic.
Empowering parents, empowering teachers, empowering grandparents. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm trying to do with the various programs.
Yeah, it's very interesting to know. And
Thank
what you
you.
said is perfectly correct. And moving on, I just want to know that what was that one change which happened to you during this pandemic times? This 1 year brought a lot of changes in people. What was that one change which brought in you?
See, I personally feel that one thing that the pandemic has definitely taught each one of us
Mm-hmm.
is how to live with uncertainties, how to let go, like that things are just not in our control, and there is
Absolutely.
some superpower beyond us who's
Mm-hmm.
controlling everything. So we can't control our lives, we can't control the world around us. I think that is what this pandemic has taught each one of us. And
Mm-hmm.
that is what I feel that children also need to learn. How to kind of connect with their own self, and
Mm-hmm.
also learn to let go, that things will be beyond our control. We have to embrace change and uncertainty in our lives, and I think that is one thing that we all learned from this pandemic. Don't you think so? I mean, it's
Even I
actually.
feel the same when I'm understanding what you're saying, when I'm relating it to you. Yes, true, absolutely. It's very uncertainties. It's
Yeah.
difficult to use that word, but it's true what you're saying. Earlier uncertainty is a very bigger word, but these days uncertainty seems to be, yes, it is true that you never know what happens today, what happens the next moment. Very true. Now, going back to before we go back to the topic, actually, I would just want to ask, um, why is that parenting becoming so difficult? That is what I have seen. Let's see, if you see my parents, they there was no much difficulty there because I was a 90s kid or whatever. uh, I've never seen them, struggling to how to grow me. After me, they had my sister, my brother who are younger than me. There was no such struggles. But I see parenting now is a very big task, very difficult task. Why is it, Vaishali?
See, parenting today has become very tough also because the needs of people have changed. The
Okay.
way we are living our lives has changed. There
Mm-hmm.
is so much competition that we are living with.
Mm-hmm.
Parents are stressed about their child's development. What is it that my child is going to grow up and become? I hope he has a very good life. There are expectations from parents as well. We've all set a lot of expectations from our children, and
Mm-hmm.
that could also perhaps be one of the reasons why parenting is becoming very difficult, along with other changes. We are going through that change, wherein we are in this 21st century, which is actually a shift from the industrial revolution to the knowledge economy. And
Correct.
whenever we are in that transition time,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then there are bound to be problems. It's bound to become very challenging. So we all need to adapt now. You know, and when we were growing up, there weren't any computers. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that's just one of the examples. There
Mm-hmm.
weren't any computers. It is not that our parents had to do policing as far as what we are watching. There used to be one Doordarshan, one television, and they would put that child lock and we were sorted. you know but today's child has so many gadgetries. Today's child has so many distractions. So all
Mm-hmm.
the more important, like parenting has become so much more important. And I personally, my heart goes out to parents sometimes, because today's child's needs are also different, and the way that children are so aware of the world around them, that parenting has become a very challenging task. But
Absolutely. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree with
and
you.
yeah, it's so challenging. But today's parent, I feel, needs to become the child's friend, needs to become a friend for the child, a guide for the child. you know we no longer need to control our children, but we need to guide our children so that they are on the right path. They are thinking right. Their thought process is directional, because that is, like, today's child would also be looking at the parent as a facilitator and a guide, more than
Very true.
somebody who's controlling them, because today's child cannot be controlled, really
Yeah, very
speaking.
true. Very true. I absolutely.
So
agree.
whatever parenting methods our parents were using today, they've become redundant. So today's parent needs to be more, you need to kind of explain to your child why you are saying something.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, our parents used to just say, and we used to be like, okay, my father has said this or my mother has said this,
Have
so
to
I have to
listen.
obey my parent. But today's
Mm.
child questions. So you have
One
to,
more. Mm.
as a parent, need to explain to the child why. So, therefore, I think the role of a parent has become that of a guide today more
Mm,
than.
yeah, that's a proper word you have used. They should become a guide. I agree because as a friend, the acceptance level of the kids is very less. I mean, especially with teenage kids, they don't like a mother being close to them as a friend. They always treat mother as a mother, father as a father. But where the word you used as a guide, that's what I think, the present parents, especially for the older kids who are in the adolescence age, I think they should need a guide. So moving on, but the parenting in West has been from long time. We are at present having this parenting coaches. There are many coaches. There are nurturing coaches for parenting, and many things have come up in terms of, there are many classes going on, many sessions going on parenting. Do you think that such kind of things which were done by, which we have adopted from West, along with many other things, such kind of things, sessions and classes will help the parents actually to understand the kid, or is it going to spoil us more? What is it?
No, I think they would really help. But the
Mm-hmm.
key here would be to, you know, join the right classes. Be
Okay.
very careful about what you choose, how you go about the whole thing, because parenting is a very responsible act.
Okay.
It's a very highly responsible, it's a big responsibility that has been given to you as a
Mm-hmm.
parent. So, and it's not something, one size fits all kind of a thing never works here, because
Absolutely, I agree with
each child is different, each
you.
parent is different, and it's a very dynamic process, because in the whole process, the
Mm-hmm.
parent is also evolving and the child is also evolving. So, you can take tips and ideas and then try and adapt it to
Mm-hmm.
who the child is. So it's very important. I think the fundamental thing as a parent would be to connect with your child, to
Okay.
understand your child. And that only you can do. So if we come up with, the word is experiential parenting. So if you're experiencing it, if it's a part of you all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and you take pride as well as interest in this entire task of parenting, I think it will become a very joyous activity as well. And
Mm-hmm.
somewhere I think that bond, to create that bond between the child and the parent, is very, very important. And that only we can
Okay.
do as parents. These classes
Mm-hmm.
can help us in getting ideas, in getting tips, but we are
Mm-hmm.
the ones who have to adapt and change it to suit our own temperament, as well as our child's temperament. So very, very
Mm-hmm.
important to perhaps take ideas and tips, but yes, be very mindful about how you're going to apply them with your child, because it has
Okay.
to suit your temperament as well as the child's.
Child's
So
them.
I think,
Correct.
yeah,
Very
because
true.
only
Very true.
then it becomes relevant, right? Because it has to become relevant to the child's temperament also.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Very true. Very true.
so that,
Um, yeah, that's true. What happens is most of the time we may take it and we may not use it properly, whatever we understood from the sessions that tend to, bounce back also, as you said. So, during this pandemic, the kids are all very, very much uh, confused. They don't know what to do. They don't know what is happening around them. They don't know whether they have to go to school again, whether they, what about their grades. Nothing is there, and the only thing they do is online sessions, and screen time of the kids have also been constantly been increasing. There's
yeah.
nothing we can Yes, parents or nothing can be done even with the teachers. Now, in this situation, since you have trained many teachers, you have trained you or yourself being a parent, what can be done to control the screen time and understand the kids also? What can make them understand also?
See, it's very, very important that we give children a very real world experience. Even
Okay.
in my teacher training programs,
Mm-hmm.
all the teacher training workshops, I've been actually helping teachers how to make teaching more real and authentic for children. Actually speaking, our homes are powerful learning centers.
Mm-hmm.
Our kitchens can be science labs, our gardens can be science labs, our bathrooms can be science labs. Our everyday learning, our everyday, whatever we are interacting with, they can be perfect learning opportunities. Why are we just sticking to an online Zoom class? Why can't we transact learning in a more authentic and real manner? So, very, very important for even teachers to convert this time, utilize this time when children are at home, make learning more real and authentic. Give them project based learning. That is what I've been telling teachers also. And they are, many teachers have sort of made that shift where they are
Mm-hmm.
finding that, these Zoom classes are really not helping children because it's very difficult for them to be sitting in front of the screen for hours and
Hours.
trying to concentrate, you know, and you really have no control whether the child is actually sitting there and learning, or is it that the child is muted and put the camera off and is roaming around inside the house. So,
Very true.
it's making things difficult for both the parents as well as the teachers. So, somewhere I feel this time can be really utilized to make learning more real and authentic and make it, all this that the national education policy has been talking about, the integrated learning, making it experiential and holistic, all that can be done at home. All we need to do is make that shift and be ready to make that shift. Right
Got
now,
it.
all these online classes should be restricted and should be used as platforms which can actually be used more for interactivity rather than trying to convert them into live classrooms. Somewhere these kind of shifts need to be made, and ho jayega. I feel it will happen. It will take time. Right now everybody was just pushed into such a situation. So
Yeah.
again that transition will take time. Everyone is trying to adapt, whether
Very
it is parents, whether it is teachers, whether it is schools, or even children. So I think we just need to give everybody some time
true.
and for everybody to kind of start adapting to this new
Okay.
world, because transition always takes time. It's just that we need to be a little more patient with each other and little more accommodating with each other. So just a matter of time, and I think we'll all find a very good balance in this entire process. So we just need to be a little more patient with each other, and it will happen. Everyone is at it, and somewhere I feel because of all these online classes, children need a lot of me time and a lot of human time at home, because their real world is disrupted, their social world is disrupted. So, somewhere, I think a lot of time is required, quality time, as we used to say, between the child and the parent. Now is the time when it is really required, because children need to, vent
Understood.
themselves
Yeah.
out and talk. So I think this is transition time, and it's just a matter of time, and I feel everyone will get the balance right.
Very true. I'm really looking forward for that time to end because children are also bored of us.
Yeah, true, true. They are absolutely bored. They are waiting for
bored,
schools to
bored of
open.
seeing the same faces from morning to evening. They can't even
Yeah.
have because we everybody are working. Even if the parents are there, they can't give 24/7 time to kids also. So
Absolutely.
what happens is, yeah, we are all looking forward as parents that we have kids going back to school, having their time, learning things from school, uh, you
Yeah.
know, all that things. Not only the kids are missing, we are also missing a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's
this
what.
has actually put another pressure on parents because
Mhm.
it is work from home, so they are like juggling between their own work and managing the children, managing homes. So it is, these are very difficult times,
Very
and I just
difficult.
hope that we all tide through it, and soon we have better times ahead.
Absolutely. Now, when we're talking about the skills which we are going to tell to the kids, what are the skills actually you think that we can tell kids at home?
So, when we talk of skills,
Mhm.
if we look at today's times, when I say knowledge economy, like,
Mhm.
today, everything, all the information that a child wants is
Mhm.
there on Google, right? It's there on
Yes.
the internet. It's available to the child at the click of a button. So
Correct.
today's child does not need an information based life or learning. So
Mhm.
today's child needs to understand or learn
Mhm.
how to use and process that information and convert it into learning. And
Okay.
that is what is the skill that children need. So,
Mhm.
we've identified, like, educationists and researchers have identified quite a few 21st century skills that are required in children. And
Okay.
that, yeah, so they primarily, revolve around competencies that children need to build, their foundational literacy, and even character. So, today's child needs to have a very strong character, because only when the child is really anchored within and
Mhm.
is very comfortable with his own self, only
Mhm.
then he can deal with uncertainties. And
Mhm.
this is a skill that we need to nurture in children right from the beginning. We need to teach children how to work in teams, how to collaborate with each other, because these are the demands of the 21st century. So many times we hear news coming up and saying that, today's children are not employable, right? We keep
Okay.
reading that children coming out of school and colleges are not employable. Industry has been raising alarms. That's
Very
because
true.
so we need to build these skills where children are able to communicate freely, they are
Mhm.
able to express themselves well, they are able to collaborate with people around and come up with, with solutions, become problem solvers. So these are the skills that, we need to nurture in children right from the beginning. Suddenly in senior school or in college, you expect a child to build these skills.
No.
No teacher has a magic wand to do that.
Very
We
true.
need to instill all these in children right from the time that they are growing up. So, therefore, I feel we can really build these skills even at home. Like how children interact with people of different ages at home. There are different age groups at home, and how they collaborate with each other, how they, negotiate themselves and their lives at home can actually help build collaborative skills in children. So small little thing, when the parents are working and in the kitchen, children could actually be helping them there, and that's
Correct.
where, you know you can build these skills in children right from the beginning at home. So homes can be powerful learning centers, whether we talk of academic skills, whether we talk of competencies like communication and team building, or we talk of character. So, character building happens at home.
Very true.
And
Very.
so, if we are able to use our home environments as learning laboratories for children, I mean, in earlier times, homes were powerful centers for learning. So, why are we forgetting that We've done it in the
I think
past.
in the past it was a joint family, and now we are not. I think
Yes.
that's one of the major
Yeah. That has
drawback.
made a major difference.
Absolutely. It's a major drawback because how much ever we try, it's not possible because when we were kids, like, we used to go on vacation to our granny's house on holidays and be there for months together. And even they used to come and stay with us and they used to be with us. So it's now there is nobody is a neighborhood person is our aunt, for the kids or
Absolutely.
those things are not there. I think kids are also suffering a lot because of this. Yeah,
Absolutely. So that's why we need a social shift as well. We need that shift. And maybe the pandemic is teaching us all this, you know,
very,
and somewhere we need to build that reflective thinking in children. And these times can be very good for building these skills when they are at home. Parents can actually reach out to children and build that bond in which children and parents become very good friends, where they can share ideas with each other, where they can become like a team, and take charge of their learning. So I feel homes can be very powerful learning centers, and that is what parents can actually, with effective parenting workshops, parents can achieve it, because a parent has this as an innate skill to be able to connect with their children. It is somewhere when we are living a social life, when we are living in a society, that somewhere we get disconnected with many of our innate skills, and this is
very
what we need to connect with. And I think every parent can reach out to their children, and these parenting workshops can actually help us get tips and ideas where we are going wrong and how we can probably come back or get the balance right. So they can be very useful, but at the end of the day, it is the parent and the child, and that is a very natural bond. We just need to strengthen it.
very, very. So fantastic. Before I end this show today, what's the last question I want to ask you is, what do you want to say to all the teachers who are struggling with the present situation, trying to finish the academic things here and studies, and also pressurized in the school, also pressurized at home, pressurized by kids, pressurized by parents. So they are throughout, rounded by many things, many problems. So, what do you want to tell to all the teachers out there whom you yourself trained many teachers? What do you want to tell them?
Well, I just want to say that they are rock stars and they are doing a fantastic job. And I think every teacher is a frontline warrior, is a COVID warrior, and they are doing a fantastic job. I think hats off to all the teachers there who are trying to, juggle around so many roles. They are actually, I think, they should be given a big round of applause from each parent, from each child, from each one in the society. Because just
Absolutely.
like doctors, every teacher has made that effort. I mean, I come in contact with so many teachers on a daily basis, and I know the kind of struggles that they are going through, the kind of issues that they are grappling with. And I must say that hats off to them for maintaining their balance and keeping their roles, and kind of going ahead with all this with so much dignity and grace. Thank you
Very
so much, teachers, for being there for all these children and doing your job so well. I think we don't have words of gratitude for them, and we should all be really grateful to each teacher out there.
thank
They've
you so
done a tremendous job.
very true, very true, very true. On this note, thanking all the teachers and Thanking everybody who are watching this show and who'll watch it after we broadcast it also. We're going live now. Thank you so much, Vaishali. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
in and
you.
sharing your views. And people who are watching this show can also connect with Vaishali with her thought process on parenting, on also teaching skills for many teachers and many other things. So keep watching Be the Change show on Women TV India, and don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe. Take care.
Thank you so much, Jyoti. Thank you, everyone, for watching this. And I just hope we all make a difference and be the change. Thank you. Thank you so much.